Molweni guys, Molweni. This morning I am bringing to you Moeletsi Mbeki, who is the brother to former President Thabo Mbeki. He's not scared of talking against the ANC. So in an interview that he had today, spoke against the ANC, the EFF, the MK, spoke against the land expropriation, spoke against, he said, former President Cyril Ramaphosa is a weak president. There's a lot of the things that he said there. But this is a man that is being accused by many South Africans of being out of touch and speaking from a place of privilege because of how he is against the expropriation of land and the BEE laws. So why am I bringing him here this morning is because of the interview that he had. Welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. Please do understand that I'm not a politician. I do not have deep knowledge in politics. However, I am a South African citizen who's also a voter, and I do believe that my views count when it comes to political affairs of our gorgeous country. Anyway, let us get into this. Firstly, I'm going to share with you the video clip, a very short video clip of that interview that he had. Then I'm going to add my commentary after that, and then share other video clips of him to show that this man has always been talking like this. Nothing new here.
Especially that. I think it's a suicidal. The South African civil service is the highest paid in the world as a percentage of GDP. President Ramaphosa has been a very weak president for the ANC.
Do you think it's the end of the road for the ANC?
I am going to try and remember the things said in that interview. Please do understand that I'm sharing with you my highlights of that interview. To those who are looking for the full interview, I'm going to share the link in the description box. But here's what he said. He said South Africa is where it is today because of the BEE laws that South Africa does not need. That is when he said the ANC has to get rid of that if they have to grow and stop being the nationalist party. He says also the ANC, with the elections of last year, was the beginning of the end of nationalism in South Africa. He also said that the ANC, the EFF, and MK are the clones of the same party, which is the ANC. He said, no, those are the same, that is one and the same thing, and they are not about to take South Africa anywhere. And he said President Cyril Ramaphosa is a weak president for the ANC because he cannot enforce anything, he cannot control anything, he is not in charge within the ANC. And for me, when I look at President Ramaphosa, is not relatable because to begin with, he's a twanging president. You know, he is soft and he's twanging. Even the masses of the people don't get to understand him very, very well. And I saw somewhere that they are proposing that our next president be Mutsipe. And I'm like, here comes another twanging leader again. Are we there yet? Are we there? I don't know, man. But anyway, so that's what he said. He also said that the GNU is a holding project because now South Africa is confused as to where to go since we saw the beginning of the end of nationalism. He also said that the situation between South Africa and the US is not really the situation between the US and South Africa. That is a fight between the ANC and the Republicans because there's a history of America supporting the ANC. I think the Republicans supporting the ANC way back, and the ANC ended up supporting the Soviet Union, which was against what the Republicans would have wanted, and the ANC apparently never said thank you to the Republicans. He said this is a story that comes from way back. He also said AFRIFORUM has a right to say whatever they want to say because of the freedom of speech that was fought for in South Africa. That freedom of speech belongs to anybody that lives in South Africa. Yes, Anna. He also said that the government must not open any treason case against AFRIFORUM because there are no grounds for it. Hey guys, I don't know what your views are, but share your views in the comment section. He also said the ANC is continuing to dig its own grave through the VAT that they are imposing on the people. He said the reason why the ANC is declining this much is that in South Africa in general, there is no party for the poor. The parties that are there are parties for the middle class. He said even the Democratic Alliance is not for the poor. The EFF is not for the poor. That's why the EFF is stuck on 9%, because the majority of the supporters that they have is the university students, young people that are becoming the middle class. That is why they cannot grow, and they are leaving the poor with no voice, with no representation. He even said the Communist Party is not even representing the workers. They are just a part of the ANC, which makes them the Nationalist Party as well. Hey guys, he said we need something new, and it calls on the capitalists to fund the politics, something new that we need. You see, there I agree with him, because I once said so that I think we need something new, something fresh. But what that is, I don't know. Is that the parties that are available now, the top 5, they are not taking us anywhere. Hey guys, there's a lot that this man said, and at the same time, there are certain things that I don't agree with him on, but he comes for everyone. He said for the ANC to survive, they need to scrap the BEE laws, because the right to property is what the investors are looking for. If their property rights are safe in South Africa. He made an example with a project that he had with the Korean company, which was, I think the project belonged to the president of Korea. He said when that project was about to start, then the ANC fired President Thabo Mbeki. He said when that happened, he was called to say now they can't even protect their own president, and our property rights, do you think they mean anything? So we cannot have that. So the project ended up not continuing. He says the government people, he said the political leaders, they don't care about such things, because they have the public purse to feed them, and when the money gets squandered, they go back to tax the same people that they are supposed to be protecting, the same people that they are supposed to be serving. He says they need to bring the capitalists to the running of the country. Hey guys, please share your views in the comment section. Said because those people are the people that know how to grow the economy. He went as far as saying that South Africa spends 16% of its GDP paying for public service, which means the salaries go to the 16% goes to salaries. He said I'm including even the MPs, including the president. Said the president of South Africa gets paid. Yo guys, he said a lot of things there. He also said South Africa, if you look at South Africa, the countries that were the same size as us economically, he made example of Chile and which country again? Thailand, I think so. He said they even use, I think, 6% of their GDP for salaries. South Africa is 16%. I remember thinking there's a 10% difference there. So what do you think about this? So if you want to really, since I've given you my highlights, you can go to the description box and follow the link to that interview. This is a man that all the time when he's being interviewed, he leaves me like, with my eyes wide open, like, this guy. Some of the things that he says, for me, I don't agree with. Like, for instance, there's a clip that I'm about to share with you. In that clip, I'm going to share those clips, like, one after the other. And then when I'm done, I'll come back with my closing commentary. He said that we are saying 60 million people in South Africa. He's talking about the BEE laws. They say they must be spoon-fed by the I'm trying to whether 4.8 million South Africans, talking about quote unquote white people in South Africa. Those must spoon feed us because we want to be part of their businesses that we didn't pay for and all of that and what. So right there, I don't agree with him because my chat is BEE was good. And it was not done the way it was not handled according to the paper that it is written on. Because I believe that if BEE was implemented right, it had to have the timeline that we're beginning now, at such a time we're ending this, because we're trying to balance things of the past. I disagree with him when he says you cannot be looking in the past. The past determines where we are and where we are going. So we have to look in the past so that we position ourselves very well, then we move forward. So there I disagree with him. And also I'm also saying that the BEE was messed up by our leaders who took an opportunity to eat, to be the ones eating from that BEE, them and their friends, and it did nothing for South Africans. When he says we want to be spoon-fed, I took offense because I'm one of the people that are trying. I'm one of the people that are doing their best. And we get stuck where? In means of production. I'm telling you right now, tomorrow I'm going to be on camera and share my own story. So we have people like me, many of us who are like that. We are being disadvantaged. Even if you get a contract, you can't produce that contract because you don't even have money anywhere to set up a factory, because the bigger companies that we want to be in business with, they are not going to tell you that we want 50 of your items with your 2 sewing machines. They will tell you that we're looking up for about 5,000 units, maybe in like 2 weeks. Can you supply? And because you don't have your system ready, you are incapable of having them, because you are in a very disadvantaged position. You end up losing on what could change your life. So when he says so, I was like, nah, he is really speaking from a space of privilege, like people are accusing him. So anyway, guys, those are the things that he said. And I saw, there's this video of him that was shared. I saw many white people commenting, clapping hands, and I saw that black people decided not to participate. And I saw another post as well when he was talking about the land of expropriation, saying that if you were to give him land, what is he gonna do with it? Because he can't farm, he doesn't know how to use it and whatnot. People are like, he is our enemy. Because he can't farm, he doesn't see the need for other people to have land. He said, expropriate land from who? If you want to buy land, it is available to you. Let me tell you, some of the things that he said, they make sense. Some of the things I said, they don't make sense. Because I'll tell you now, even if we go and look for funding in entities that are supposed to be funding quote-unquote black businesses, and you know what is said is that white people think we actually benefit from BEE, and we don't. We don't. So when you go to look for funding, those funding agencies that are meant to fund black business, they want security as well, and we've got nothing. We have nothing to give so that we get the funds that we need to grow our businesses. Hey guys, hey. Anyway, I'm going to share these video clips, then I'll be back with my closing commentary.
This is what I found quite interesting. You've actually put forward the idea that it is time that we compromise and let go of broad-based black economic empowerment. Why is the time now?
Well, I have always opposed black economic empowerment, because what black economic empowerment says, which is not the written one, is the small print. The small print is saying black people are inferior. They cannot set up their own companies. They must be junior partners to white-owned companies, and they must just sit there and get dividends for owning 26%, which they didn't pay for. So it is the underwriting, the underlying message of black economic empowerment is that black people are inferior. I am opposed to that notion.
What then do we do about the need to address the past? I mean, it's a reality. When you look at inequality in this country, when you look at the unemployment numbers, those numbers primarily are the black South Africans for the most part of it. And there is still the argument that in this 30 years of our democracy, we haven't addressed inequality. We haven't addressed access to opportunity for vulnerable black people to bring them up to par with their white counterparts. How do we do that in a new dispensation?
Well, you can't address the past. The past is the past. If you try to address the past, as they say, you are driving with looking through the rear view mirror, and then you're going to crash against something. We have to address the future. We have to build a future of South Africa, not to build a past. You can't build a past. So we have to sort out how do we build the past and the future of South Africa. First, black South Africans are 90% of the population. So they have to be the primary builders of the future of the country. They are the majority, the big majority of the country. The African colored Indians are 90% or 92% now of the population. So the future of South Africa depends on them building, not receiving free rides from 8% of the population, which are the white population. If they are going to be fed by 8%, then this country has absolutely no future. This 92% has to get down and build the country. By building the country, it means they have to set up new companies, they have to start new industries, they have to build new mines. They have to build it, not as guys sitting with 26% of a white-owned company. They have to build their own mine themselves. That's how you're going to build the future of South Africa's government has. We have the most expensive public service in the world as a percentage of GDP, of gross domestic product of South Africa. There was a report produced a couple of years ago looking at the wage bill of the South African government. It was produced by the International Monetary Fund. Even they were shocked. The South African public service consumes 16% of gross domestic product as pay to the public service. Similar countries to South Africa, like Thailand, Indonesia, Chile in South America, it's only 6%. So we have a hugely paid public service, which frankly, the question about its efficiency, the jury is out on that. But we have a hugely overpaid public service, which is a mega cost to the economy. The government can go there and reduce the cost of the public service. That would be where they should go.
The unions always say, Mr. Mbeki, that that's not really the issue.
Our land.
Well, if you gave me land tomorrow, I would have no idea what to do with it. I don't know how to farm. I wouldn't know how to drive a tractor. I wouldn't know where to put a maize seed when. So there is a myth in which the politicians are perpetrating, that every African person in South Africa is a peasant and therefore wants to go back to the land and become a farmer. That's absolute nonsense. The majority of African people in South Africa live in the urban areas, and they live especially in the metros, and they know nothing about farming. So to perpetuate the myth that every African person is a peasant who wants to have a few cows and a plow and to go and plow a field and grow maize, it's a fantasy. I don't know how we can get this fun. You know, every society has myths. This is one of our myths amongst the black South Africans. It's a myth that, you know, we are such and such. These are stereotypes. You see, people have stereotypes which they then believe, which have nothing to do with reality. It's very sad to find big political parties wasting their time talking about expropriating land. From whom to whom? The land in South Africa is owned by South African citizens. If you want to buy a farm, if you want to grow maize and you want to buy a farm, there are farms on the market every day of the week, every day of the year. You can go and buy one. You can buy a wine farm if you want. You can buy a cattle farm if you want. You can buy any farm in South Africa. In the past, under apartheid, you couldn't. Well, there is no longer apartheid. You can buy a farm if you have the money, or if your bank will lend you the money, you can buy a farm. But you have to pay back the money you borrow from the bank.
Okay, guys, that's what I wanted to bring to you. And I think Elon Musk would love to see this, because now it talks to why his business is stunning, to be exact, is not in South Africa. That's where they are fighting with our government, because they're refusing to comply with that 30% BEE part. Do you get? So, and I know that many people who are supporting Elon Musk would love that interview. So with that said, I don't know what to think, man. I don't know what to think. Whatever your views are, kindly share them in the comment section. I just wanted to bring that. I know I have my own views, but I'm still processing them. Yo, Moeletsi Mbeki will have me confused, sometimes even annoyed, and then get unannoyed, and then get unconfused and confused again. Thank you guys for watching up to here. And the next time you bump into my videos, kindly watch my ads in full. It really goes a long way.